Hi everybody, I'm Jennifer Merle Hampshire, and this episode is brought to you by whispersandink.net. And join me for coffee and cards, a Facebook Live on my Whispers and Ink page. Sorry, that's our commercial. All right, I'm going to walk you through the steps of making this. I called it an apple box. Had some people say that to me that, oh, Jennifer, I don't know if I'm going to be able to figure out how to do that. So let's put it together. This time, though, we're using the Harvest Hellos. This time, we're not going to do apples this time. We're going to do pumpkins this time. So I'm going to put this card right there at the very top corner. We're going to be working with similar colors. For the box portion of this, the crumb cake is my color of choice for our box. But the pumpkins, we're going to do Mango Melody, Pumpkin Pie, and the Mint Macaron for our pumpkins. And for the moment, I'm going to put that aside, and excuse me, I'm going to pull out our pumpkin stamp. And I'm also going to pull out our leaf. And I should have done this ahead of time, right? And then our stem, because we are going to use that stem for the pumpkin stems. I'm going to put this to the side. Let's talk about the actual concept of this card, the card base. You're going to need either a scoring tool. I'm going to use my trimmer because I found that it was pretty easy to line it up. What you're going to need is a piece of crumb cake cardstock that measures 4 1/4 by 11. And all this stuff is on the blog post, the Apple Box post on my Whispers and Ink blog. You're going to take this piece, and remembering dark as death, we want to use the lighter piece, so we're going to get rid of that one. And I hope that I don't know if I'm going to be able to get this all in the shot, but what you're going to do, and I'll show you, you're going to take one corner and then the other corner on a diagonal. And that's what's going to get the flip. So this corner's in and this corner down below is in, and we're going to take our scoring piece and we're going to run it across a couple of times. And that's it for the fold. It is literally that easy. We're going to, there we go, fold on the score, just like this. Using our bone folder, we're going to make our crease and see where the flip comes from. Now, let's score the center. Back again, bringing in the trimmer, and it's gonna go the end of it. We're gonna do the flat at the top because that's the bottom of our card. Do the flat along the top, and we're going to put it at the 7/8 of an inch, which is the longer line between the 5 3/4 and the 6 inch. And then again, using the lighter, we're going to do our score for our center. And we're going to bring in our bone folder again. That is it. That's it. There's our card. The flip, this is the box portion of our card. Let's talk about decorating. I used the pine wood plank embossing folder, and I have an old one. I haven't gotten the new ones yet. and you're able to emboss both pieces, both the front of the box and the back side of the box, in one run of your embossing machine, we'll say. And we're going to make our box here. This box might look a little bit different, only because I actually used the cherry cobbler here, which is the color that I used to make the apples. This time I'm going to use the Cajun Craze because that's what we're going to be using on our pumpkins. And this is all about, you guys, this is all about the sponges. And you can see my dark sponge is very well loved. You will want to, and I was going to say I have one right here, you're going to want to take a piece of scrap, and all I'm doing is rubbing the sponge across. Little bit of back and forth action to get both sides. Now I'm going to bring this up so that you can see, hopefully, this is what I worked on, this is what I didn't. See how the wood grain gets darker? And we're going to keep doing that to get the desired look that we want. And we're going to do the whole thing. Just like that. There is just, this is the soft suede that we just used. We're going to put that to the side. We're going to work on the front panel, which apparently, because I got a little excited, is going to be a little darker than I originally wanted it to be. Then taking this sponge, we're going to pull in a little bit. Let's close the soft suede so we don't get confused, because I do that all the time. Use this Cajun Craze. And to me, the reason that I did this here, the cherry cobbler on this box, is to make it look like an old piece of barn wood that the wood had been actually painted at one point. And you don't want to go heavy on this, but just a little bit. There's that one so you can get a close-up view of it. And then we're going to attach. Closing that, we'll move that. For this, I did use my multi-glue. And you don't have to go super crazy. Like I say, it's not going through a hurricane. There's that. And this goes on the front panel. And I like the Tombow glue because it gives you a minute to adjust before it adheres. Now, to do the inside panel, I just opened this back up. Go ahead and put your glue on. And I hope you guys can see this. You don't need a ton. And you do not want to use your bone folder to flatten this out because you'll lose some of your image. And because all you need to do is just press a little. There's that. And there's our front of our card. I even would go so far as to pull that soft suede back in and sweep that color along the edge a little bit, and even the bottom so that it looks like it was sitting in the dirt or on the ground. just like that. And you could do a little bit of the top there as well. And then there is our pumpkin box, or our apple box, if you will. Now let's talk pumpkins. I'm gonna put the card base to the side over here, and let's talk our pumpkins. Now I did do 5 pumpkins here, or 5 apples here. These 2 apples are not full-size cuts. I did not stamp full pieces there. Wasn't necessary. I did use the Memento ink, which I forgot to grab, for that, only because I didn't want to worry about bringing the colors around. For these though, I think I'm gonna change my mind mid video, and I think I'm gonna do these in the soft suede for our pumpkins. Now we're gonna do a full size of the Mint Macron, and we're gonna do a full size of the pumpkin pie, and a full size of the mango melody. And I'm thinking, keeping, and you guys can't see it, keeping within the design here, like what I used for the apples. These 2 are the Calypso Coral. We have 1 of the Real Red, and then 2 of the Granny Apple Greens. I think this time I'm gonna do 2, and bring my scrap piece back, 2 of the pumpkin pies, and then 2 of the mango melodies, and we're gonna do just 1 of those. And here is our coordinating punch. Cuts both the apples and the pumpkins. And the cool part is too, is that not only does it do the apples and the pumpkins, the full ones. I put my stamp to the side. This here, this partial apple, if you put it in on the edge here, it cuts that out too. I had a sample, but I don't know where it's at to show you. Here is our full-size pumpkin. Get the garbage out of the way, we don't need that. We need this partial pumpkin and this full-size pumpkin. And then this full size. And technically, I don't know if you guys know, but technically the pumpkins, quote unquote, that are this color are technically gourds. I found that out when I moved to the country. I thought that was pretty interesting. We don't need any of those scrap pieces. But here's what we're gonna do. Keeping in mind the different colors that we have here. And we're going to start, I started the apples when I did the apples. I started the apples with the soft suede. And you don't need to go crazy when you are trying to create an effect, because, and I'll show you what I'm talking about. Look at the difference just that little sweep that I did on each of those layers makes. So the next thing that I'm gonna do is I'm gonna pull in the Cajun Craze on this one, keeping it light, totally keeping it light. And we're just going to add a little sweep just like that. And then, lastly, for this one, we're gonna bring in, this is how old my craft white is, you guys. Old, 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 old. I've had it for a long time. Use a lot of craft white, especially this time of year. And here is the difference. This I didn't touch yet. This is the one that I just was messing with. Not happy with it? Add a little layer here, a little layer there, and you kind of go round and round, and that's how we do up these pumpkins. Full pumpkins. I think we're going to do this pumpkin, we'll do down here. We'll do this one kind of up here, and then kind of squeeze it together. We'll add this one here, and then this one will come in here. And those will be our pumpkins, and I'll post a final picture. But I wanted you guys to see how this card worked. But here's the other thing I wanted to point out. This one, we all look at those trinkets, and those trinkets are super cute, but what do we do with them? These trinkets here that I used are part of the Leaves trinkets, which came out last year, part of the Rooted in Nature set. And you'll see, and I know you can see it because I can see it in the photos that I did, that background there, I actually put a leaf piece and glued it on the back side of the trinket. But here's another cool trinket. These trinkets, which are part of the Bird Ballard suite, how cool would those be for a couple of pumpkins? They look like vine pieces. And then you could also add, because I try to keep things in threes, we can also add a little flower. And those will be what we add into, and extending the life of your trinkets. Look outside of the box. I say it before and I'll say it again. It's doing something different. We can always add the stems, because here's our stems right here. There it is. Add the stems with those trinkets. Here, we'll put it up here just to give you guys a look. See? But there's the stem with the trinket. Look outside the box. And here's the other thing. See this trinket? You don't have to necessarily use it that way. You can use it just that way, so that they're going in different directions. Extending the life of your trinkets. Using the trinkets that you buy. Don't put them in the drawer. Use them. Thank you for joining me today. If you learned anything, please feel free to share. I'm glad that you joined me today. Check out the blog post with all the particulars. Have a great day getting crafty, and I'll see you next time. Bye.